Hi, I'm Pete Kramer with Pete Kramer Media, and I'm so glad you've joined us on this special edition of Lights Up, the High School Theater Podcast. This is one of two special episodes during which I'll speak with nominees for the 2026 Metro Awards. The Metros are the high school version of the Tony Awards for musicals in Westchester, Rockland, Putnam counties in New York, and in Bergen County, New Jersey. This year, 74 high schools entered the competition, and today I will be joined at some point, I think, by 7 of the actors who are nominated for the Metro Award as leading male identified role, and that's the leading actor. So I want to welcome those who've made it here. I think we've got a couple who are at rehearsal or at award shows, but they're going to join us. But right now, I want to welcome Luciano Guidetti from Paramus High School.
Hey, how you doing?
Good to see you. Derek Bedell from St. Joseph Regional.
Hello.
Liam Weil from Northern Valley Demarest.
Hey, everybody.
And Donovan Russell from Woodlands Middle High School.
Hey.
So that's 4. That's what, 5 of the 7. Not 4. That's 4 of the 7. We hope to be joined by Joshua Fitzpatrick from Blindbrook, Massimo Cartateghi from Putnam Valley, and Gian Kawai from Rhinebeck. But let's get started, gentlemen. This is the 25th anniversary of the Metro Awards, which are sponsored by the Helen Hayes Youth Theater in Nyack. The Metros are going to be handed out Monday, June 15th at Purchase Performing Arts Center at Purchase College, and will be hosted by Broadway performers Emma Pittman and Kevin Scholak, who were in The Outsiders. I should note that there's another special episode of this podcast. On the other one, I speak with the nominees for leading actress, so do check that out wherever you get your podcasts. Gentlemen, sorry for that long exposition, but you're in theater, you know what exposition is all about. So have you guys been to the Metros before?
Never.
Not in person, no.
Donovan, you've been once?
Yes, me and Derek have.
And Derek, you were there too for St. Joe's. There was a time when the Metros, which used to be called the Helen Awards, were just a single ceremony. You show up, and that was it. Now there's like this whole weekend thing that they've got built out. What do you guys know about the weekend that's coming up?
All we know about the weekend is that on Sunday we have a big rehearsal. All of I think it's the leading male, leading female, the supporting actors and the supporting actresses. We all come together to rehearse our put together medley. So like a short snippet from all of our songs. That's on Sunday, the 14th, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturday, I think the outstanding vocal performance people are doing their opening number rehearsal. And I think that's more or less everything I know.
Yeah, that's
about
along with all the dancers from the schools. Yeah.
Right. Dancers too.
Right. So there's like an opening number where every school can send a kid and they take part in it, which is kind of cool. I think it used to be you would come in, do your 16 bars, you'd go center stage, sing your 16 bars and leave. And that was it. Now it's much more of a kind of love fest. You guys are going to be bros by the end of this whole thing. You guys know each other already, but I mean, it's going to be a different sort of experience for you. Live band, kind of a really a different sort of evening. You guys, we were just talking about this. Luciano won the Paper Mill Playhouse's award. Derek Bedell won the Bergen Pack Award. Donovan was at the Roger Rees Awards. You've been all over the place. You guys know
the Roger Rees Awards?
I'm sorry?
What's the Roger Rees Awards?
It's New York City's pipeline to the Jimmys.
Oh, that's sick.
Right.
Yeah,
So the Roger Rees Awards.
It sucks, but New Jersey doesn't go to the Jimmys.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's so annoying.
See, I used to think that the Paper Mill fed to the Jimmys, but no.
No,
If I'm not wrong, they might have like a long time ago when they first started, but then when they became a regional theater is what I've heard.
It's a bummer.
But
the Metros did too. The Metros did for the first couple of years. They sent to the Jimmys.
Really?
17 years ago. Yeah. They changed the stipulation that it had to be backed by a league theater, the Broadway League Theater. And the Roger Rees gets in because they've got the Disney theatricals backing them.
Yeah.
I think that's the way.
But
it's a kind of
Paper Mill doesn't because it's its own thing. some. I don't know. It's like it functions separately.
Right.
It's like we're like the only state that doesn't go to the Jimmy's.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it's really.
But you're going to the
frustrating.
metros. You're going to the metros, and that's
Boy, I'm
good.
going on the metro.
Yeah.
Best thing ever.
It's been a while since your musicals. I mean, Derek, was
Yeah.
Pippin back in January for you guys?
Yeah, we opened the last weekend in January and we closed the first weekend in February.
So what is it like kind of revisiting the guy? Because you're as a nominated overall production, you guys must be rehearsing a number to do, right?
Yeah, we're doing Glory, which is a lot of fun. We really emphasize like the whole dance ensemble for it, and we put a huge emphasis on the Manson duo, which like they latch on to the leading player throughout the whole show. So it was good to revisit that and kind of relearn the choreo. Although I was surprised to know a lot of it already. A lot of it I like still had buried in the archives of my brain, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. And we're adding Pippin and Lewis into that to kind of showcase us as well, along with Charlemagne. But yeah, I mean, it's been a show that I've loved and done many times throughout my life. So it's not like it wasn't a big stretch for me to go back and relearn all the material.
Right. Good. Well, that's good. But it's still, I mean, there's got to be a little bit of rust. It's been 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, we rehearsed enough to where it wasn't too much to get it all back together. We just kind of redid the placements for everyone and organized a little bit more. But yeah, we were rehearsing last Sunday, I think, from 9 to 12, and we have another one day of. So
There
we'll
you
see.
go. There you go. But I think it must be kind of fun to be learning something new, like the medley you're going to learn on Sunday, where you guys are working together and really kind of playing off each other, and that there's something new there, right? I mean, those are new muscles.
Medley's always like my favorite part of award ceremonies, just to get to meet the other actors, because I mean, everyone comes from different areas and you're not really exposed to people of that level. And like in your area, like you rarely ever get to meet people that are like your like other male performers. Like it's just not really a popular thing in musical theater. It's hard to find other guys that sing and dance and act. So doing this is really eye-opening, and it's good to hear about other people's experiences and shows and how they have worked with that.
That's great. Luciano, you're a junior at Paramus.
Yes, I am.
You played Joe Gillis in Sunset Boulevard, which is a show that's rarely done, and I think it's the first time I've heard of a high school doing it.
Get this. It's we're one of 2 high schools in the country that did it this year. A school in Texas did it.
Amazing. I can't imagine Joe Gillis with a Texas accent, though. I don't know.
Yeah. Nah, he's a nice guy. He doesn't have an accent. I because we met up online. His name's Ben. You can find him. Ben Keg. And he won an award too. Like we're just like we're doing great. He's a good guy. So we've been talking. But no high schools ever do Sunset. But I think it's had a resurgence in popularity because of the newest revival. Did you see that?
I didn't. I didn't see the new one. I saw the original, but
it was brilliant. And the original is also brilliant. But the music's just incredible.
Your director, I talked to your director to get some incriminating information. Joe Oliveri said you worked hard to find Joe Gillis and to stay faithful to the film and both Broadway productions.
Yes.
And while still making original choices that made your portrayal a perfect representation of the character, is what Joe said.
Yes.
He said you are, quote, everything you want in an actor. Can you defend yourself?
100%. Of course, we really wanted to emulate the newest revival, like the minimalist black and white scheme, and it was like dark and gloomy. And I loved Tom Francis's portrayal of the character, but I also huge fan of film and of the original film from 1950 directed by Billy Wilder, and I loved William Holden's portrayal. So I really wanted to encompass both Tom Francis and William Holden and other actors of the era into creating this own version of Joe Gillis, nobody's ever seen. Like just pick and choose from them, but also just create my own. you know.
At one point in the show, Joe told me that you had to make a change from Joe as the narrator to Joe as the character. He said
Yes.
you should explain how that happened.
Yeah. I wanted, and this was the biggest switch, because in the newest revival, Tom Francis, he was mostly stoic the whole time, like hands in his pocket, and he's doing the face. But I didn't want that, because I wanted my Joe, because Joe in the movie, William Holden, he plays him. He's funny, he's sarcastic, but he's also like down on his luck. He's just trying to charm so he can get his foot in the door.
Mhm.
But I didn't want to just be Mr. Charmer the whole time either. So I was thinking, when Joe's narrating, because when he's narrating, he's dead because he's talking from the afterlife, because spoiler, he gets shot at the
Oh,
end.
spoiler alert! Jeez.
But he tells you that in the beginning of the show, or whatever. So when he's narrating, he's deadpan and stoic because he knows his fate. But when he's actually in the scenes, that's when he's silly and sarcastic and charming. And I wanted to switch between that. And then by the end of the show, I become the version that you see in the beginning, who's narrating the show. And it was this gradual downward spiral into, I don't know, just acceptance that I'm, my fate. And other things too, like when I put my hands in my pocket, that means I'm comfortable where I am, and when they're up, I don't know. It's just other body language stuff. Whatever.
No, all those are choices and intentions that make it your portrayal. I mean, that's kind of cool stuff. That's kind of that. It sounds like it's in the weeds, but it's the kind of stuff that theater kids get off on. It's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great stuff. That's cool. So Liam, let's talk about Tevye, because Tevye is one of those characters that you can play. I mean, you've played Dracula in Dracula. You played Dimitri in Anastasia. You played Professor Plum in Clue, Adam in Freaky Friday, and Wayne in Puffs. I mean, your director, David Marconi, said that you brought something different to Tevye in that you weren't playing kind of the camp, the Zero Mostel sort of thing. You kind of played him much more real. You found the humor, but you weren't playing for laughs. Can you talk about? I've been in Fiddler a bunch of times. Can you give me an example of a choice that you made where you could have gone one way but you went another?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, in the scene near the end where Chava, Tevye's one of Tevye's daughters, she runs off with Fiedka, a man who is not of Jewish faith, and so Tevye is like, absolutely not. I am not having this. You are not. And if you're going to do this, I don't want you to be my daughter anymore.
Right.
And there could have been 100,000 different ways to play it off. There could have been the way that I think was wrong, the way that's just like, you're done, bye, and then just start the fake crying. But to me, the thing that really hit is when my director took me to the side, because he has 3 little kids at home. And he said to me, imagine, because I know you don't have kids, imagine in your mind having a son or a daughter and saying to them, you're dead to me. You are not my child anymore. And I kid you not, as he said that to me, a literal tear rolled down my face. And when I went to then rehearse that scene, I did it, and my director cried. And so I channeled that thought, like the physical, like almost impossible task of actually telling your child that I don't want anything to do with you, you're dead to me anymore, is just like the most heartbreaking thing you can think of. And that was definitely a huge choice that definitely made an impact on my performance.
And catching it in rehearsal, and you guys can all weigh in on this, catching a moment like that in rehearsal where you get the tear, and then the next time you do it, your director gets the tear. That could have happened early in the process. It could have happened, Hell Week maybe. How do you make sure that when you need it, opening night, second night, closing night, it's there? What do you What do you do to get that?
Well, to me, I feel like every rehearsal, always has a meaning. Every rehearsal is always just like, great, I get to do this amazing thing again. Great. But then the feeling that when you actually get to do this in front of 300, 400, 500 people, depending on how big your guys' theaters are or how many, whatever.
Sure.
That feeling like rehearsal, having the rest of the cast and crew out, just like, fine, I'm doing it. I still have the emotions. But then having my parents, my siblings, and hundreds of other people watching me do this definitely gives you that weight on your heart that makes it more real in a way. Instead of just trying to perfect it, it's like you've perfected it and now you're just showing what you can do.
Nice. Anybody else want to talk a little bit about taking something a moment that you nailed in rehearsal and making sure that it's there on opening night?
I
Derek?
can take that. Yeah. I was in this production of Rent last year at the end of spring, actually. I didn't do my school's play because I was trying to, branch out and do something that was going to push me. So I did something that was like crazy outside of my comfort zone, and I took on the role of Angel, which, if anyone doesn't know, is like
That's crazy.
drag queen cross-dresser from, that
Wow.
era, fighting the AIDS epidemic. And I often just like in rehearsals, I found it hard to step into like the shoes of the character because I wasn't living it like in the moment. I was more just rehearsing each scene, like depending on what we were doing that day. And I was trying to find like the mannerisms and how to like live as that individual because it was just something that I was so unfamiliar with.
Sure.
But again, like off of what Liam was saying, like on opening night, I remember being like so terrified, like of what my parents and like everyone in the audience would think. And like something about just like being up there and like knowing that like the pressure was on and that you had eyes on you and that like you were doing it like in its entirety. Like I felt as if like I was Angel, like I was living the scene and like breathing it. Specifically Angel's death at the end of, or in the middle of Act 2. I felt like I didn't want to like push it around. Oh yeah, sorry, spoiler again if you haven't seen it. But, I mean, it's been out for like what, 30 years now.
30
so
years, yeah.
on that. But yeah, the death was always just like hard to do because I didn't want to overstep or do something that wasn't like accurate to an actual death of AIDS or HIV. And I don't know, something about just like living it was so different and just like it felt real and it all came naturally rather than like a processed like emotion and scene. But yeah.
Right. Well, you both just brought up great points, and I wanted to maybe Donovan, you could talk to this. Musicals are often dismissed as song and dance. It's song and dance. There's so much acting that you have to act the song. You have to act your part. You have to make sure that it's all coming from a place of realism. Otherwise, it's just song and dance, right? Maybe Donovan, you could talk about how, the work you've done in either in the shows at Woodlands or elsewhere, and how you make sure that you're acting, you're still acting. It's not just song and dance. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. I think here, what's a good example? I did Jekyll and Hyde last September, and I was Jekyll and Hyde, right? And it's a very
I'm so jealous.
I know, I loved it so much. It's one of my favorite roles I've ever played. But it's such a big show, like big number here, flashy thing here, very flashy, very dark plot, very flashy, but there is a lot of depth that you can bring to the acting. Like, I feel like when I was, everybody knows Confrontation. We're reaching back and forth. He's one character, he's the other character, and that's choreography, right? You're looking one way, you're singing. You're looking the other way, you're singing. It's a crazy vocal song, right? And I had practiced it so much, and I had gotten to the point of like I feel comfortable with this, right? It's still ridiculously hard to be doing that back and forth, but I feel comfortable with this, right? And I feel like the thing for me that really like let that, or what I found brought a better performance to it, is letting the shift surprise me, letting my change in character surprise me, trying to feel as scared as my character. Like he ends up, spoiler alert again, he ends up killing himself because he has to get
Luciano just
this-
like lost his lunch over there. He's so depressed.
like, what happened? No way.
So much death in these shows.
I
God.
know, right? Maybe that's what makes a good show, though. Just saying.
It's a good acting role.
It is, yes. But no, like he gets to the point of like this struggle between two people inside of him is so much that he kills himself. And I think you have to feel the fear that character feels. You have to be able to sympathize with your character. And then at the same time, when you're the other character, I have to feel like as soon as I switch, I have to feel just as cocky and arrogant and as evil, I guess, as Hyde feels in that moment. So I guess like best way to summarize that is really sympathizing with the character. Like I'm playing Bobby right now. I'm practicing for Bobby and Company right now.
No
very excited
way.
for.
That's
Oh my God.
I know,
we're
I'm
so
very
lucky.
excited for that. And
We're
like
so lucky.
where?
Sandbox Studios.
When
Ooh, Sandbox.
Yeah, Sandbox. Yes, we just started rehearsal. It's July 10th through 12th. Shameless plug. July 10th through 12th. Please come. Yeah, no, but I feel like I'm right now, even though we just started. Like I'm trying to find ways in which, I mean, it's always make your acting real to you. Make the context of the show real to you. But also, I try to like I want the line between me and my character to be like so blurred that like sometimes my friends are like, Donovan, like after I see you in a role, like that's not the character anymore. Like that's just like you are the character, and like I see you too much so whenever I see someone else doing it, I'm like, no, it's not you. Like it doesn't feel right, because like I try to like I actually like I get as similar mentally as I can to the character.
Mm-hmm.
So for like any moment where I can find sympathy for my character, I can find reason in what they're thinking. Like why do they think this? Why are they going to do this? But like really internalize why to them it makes sense, and thus why to me it makes sense. To the point where like if someone were to argue with me that they're wrong, like no, I'm going to tell you why my character is right. Actually, this is what my character is going to do.
Right.
So yeah.
Does it get?
Sorry,
does
that
it
was very
get-
long-winded.
No, it's great. That makes it seem like you are putting yourself in the moment of the song and kind of putting yourself at the mercy of the story and what the story is doing to your character. Do you get down to the point, any of you guys get to the point where you're doing text and you're saying, my action here is this, my action here is
Yeah,
that?
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like every line is dissected. Like
Yeah.
every action. Like, and if you to ask us a question, I'm sure we could all answer confidently. Like no matter what you ask about the character, like we're just gonna know.
Yeah.
Because
Nice.
it's our interpretation anyway.
Right, but in order to be real, you've got to do that work. You've got to dissect what it is, and it may seem like it's natural. Oh, that's Luciano playing Joe Gillis, but it's all the work you've put in. It's all the script
Yeah.
work you've done.
Yeah.
The intentions and all of that.
Hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the stuff you don't see. We don't want to see the seams. We never want to see the seams. Well, that's really cool stuff. That's really great stuff. So you guys will be on stage on Monday night. You'll be buddies who are competing with each other for a star-shaped trophy. One of you will go home with it. One of you, or some of the guys who aren't here. Oh,
Yeah.
here's Gian just showed up. Let's see if I can add.
Yes.
Sorry for being late. I had rehearsal, but I'm in the car.
Hey.
Hey, Gian.
Hey,
what's
Can
up,
we see, can we see Gian? There he's kind of in the shot. There he is.
yeah.
How are you? How was rehearsal?
I'm doing good. It was great. I'm doing a Shrek for the community theater at Artistry, and it's so much fun. I'm ensemble, but it's so much fun, and it's so I don't know, it's so rewarding being in a community theater because there's like so many people from so many places and so many age ranges that you'd never know, and so many people that you'd never know. So it's like so much fun. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So we were talking about how to make things, how to act a part, and the work that goes into making a character real. When you played
Mhm.
Barry Glickman in the Prom, he was a character that we're going to root for. We know going in that he's going to be the one. We're going to actually see a lot of the show through him, aren't we?
Yes, yeah, totally. I mean, I definitely think Barry's one of the comedic reliefs in the show. But he has a lot of like like humanness in him. Um, and I think especially like we don't get to see that in the beginning, and the shift from the perspective that we see of like the narcissism that he starts off, and the and like the beauty of the empathy that Barry holds later on in the show is such a beautiful thing. And I think that's also part of like my character work that I did on like how at what point does Barry start to see um, the reason why he's actually there, and reason why he's actually there to help fight this ignorance and fight this discrimination against Emma. So yeah.
So Liam was talking earlier. Liam played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof, and he really kind of was talking about going for the reality of it and not playing not playing for the laugh, settling for much more realism. You could have played Barry for laughs. You're going to get the laughs, but I think if you played him too hard for the laugh, you would really lose his humanity, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
So
I
how
think-
hard along was that? Were there times when your director was saying too much, or how did you get to that level where you were comfortable with where he was pitched?
Yeah, I think for me, I always kind of saw like the comedy of it as almost like part of him. So like I think like the comedy of it is like it has to be rooted in like the realism of who he is. So like I think obviously like there's this physicality that there is and that he uses, and he's this Broadway star and he decorates himself to be something so grand. But also at the same time, like a lot of the comedy that he brings to the show is just who he is. So I think like bringing that like I try not to into it as like sorry, the garage is closing. I try to not play into it as him like making like a funny situation, but rather him just simply existing. And I think that's that's what mostly helped me throughout the show. And I also think later on in like for example Barry's Going to Prom, I really tried to concentrate on like although it's a really funny song, I really tried to find like more real moments of the song at the end, especially when he talks about how his mother and how he's going to call his mom after yeah, I think it's 29 years and finally going to prom. So it's like I think that kind of like realism is also just comes naturally with the character, I think.
Mm-hmm. That's great. That's great. I think your director. I'm using stuff against you guys, but Ms. Feynman said that you care about creating thoughtful, artful, intentional theater.
Oh,
I was
really
talking
sweet. Yeah.
talking with Valentina earlier, and she said you were responsible for bringing in an ASL person to sign your show at one of the performances. Why was that
Yeah.
important to you, Gian?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the shows is about the inclusion of queer people and inclusion of people who are discriminated against in the society of in Indiana. And I thought of last year I did Grease, where the senior last year Ella did an sensory friendly performance, and that just like really struck me hard as a person who's gay and may not have like I may not have had the space before moving to the U.S. I lived in Japan before, and that kind of inclusion really struck me hard. And I wanted to spread that kind of love and spread that kind of wealth that theater can bring of compassion and of joy and of all the things that theater can bring to people who don't usually get to see theater. And obviously, there are a lot of regional and professional theaters that does ASL interpretation, but I think there's also something so beautiful about teenagers telling stories like this. And I wanted to kind of share that moment with people who may not have access to that usually. So yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. Each of you has played a role, has had a role that you'll be remembered for. You'll be remembered. There will be 1,500 people at Purchase College on Monday who will see you, or they'll see you on the live stream, and this will be the role they'll remember you for. And while only one of you is going to go home with that star-shaped trophy, you'll still have made friendships, and you'll have experiences that you will be able to go back to and say, I remember when any one of you is on Broadway or is accepting the Tony Award, you'll say, there was that night in 2026 where I shared the stage with him. That was pretty cool.
Okay,
So Gian,
sure.
what does it mean? What is being a theater kid? What does that meant to you?
Okay. Well, I think being in theater has really helped me really shape my views of how I function in society. I mean, during senior year, I had to write the Common App essay and the supplemental essays. And it's really strange thinking, why do I want to pursue this as a career? And it's sort of silly, like you're dancing and singing and you're acting on stage. But I think doing so many shows in high school, it really made me, all these shows that we do has somewhat of weight and somewhat of meaning, regardless of whatever material you're given.
I feel like I take off the coat that is me and I put on the coat that is whatever role I'm playing, or even if it's just a different version of me. I take off that one. And for the 3 hours that I'm on that stage, I am someone else. Every problem, overthinking, feeling that I have in my mind just goes away. This is not just a hobby. This is what I want to do in the future. This is what I want to do when I'm 50, 60, 70, 80 years old. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Being a theater kid for me has like transcended the actual like just theater portion of my life. I feel like a lot of the maturity and like knowledge that just I have, just like about how I approach any social situation or any of my relationships, has kind of stemmed from that, because I feel like I've gained so much knowledge just from playing the roles that I've played. Like, I think it's the best way to learn about other people and how they go through their lives and what they experience. Like, just different cultures, different areas, different times. It's just really eye-opening.
I wasn't a theater kid until like the summer of my freshman year. Everything has a purpose. Everything has a place. Nothing's bad. Art is subjective, but it's all good. And a theater kid just loves it all, no matter what show. It could be Sunset Boulevard. It could be SpongeBob, you know?
Okay, Donovan, I think you're the last one. What does it mean to be a theater kid?
I think for me, the biggest thing that being a theater kid has been community and the people around me, because I never did theater outside my school until this year, after the 2025 Metros. I met so many people, and that's the reason that I was in I did 6 shows this year, if I include the one with
Holy crap.
Wow.
Build that resume.
Yeah.
Whoa, that is a lot.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's been such an amazing experience, and I've gotten to meet so many other talented people who enjoy the same things as me, are like-minded. You know, they honestly very very good people, very good honest people who like what they're doing, put a lot of work into their craft, and want to see it succeed. And they like seeing the same shows as me. They like seeing all the same stuff. So I'm just very fortunate. Like Derek and Gian, I got to meet both of you within the last year. Luciano and Liam. Hi, good to nice to meet you.
up?
But
Best friend.
everybody else that I've met at all the community theaters and everything else, I don't know, it just meant a lot to me. Like, even as just a singer too. Like, I've met some of the best singers I've ever met. Like, even like if I consider everybody I knew from just singing in theater. So it's crazy.
Awesome. Okay, guys. Well, we'll see you on Monday at the Metro Awards. Come by and say hi. I won't be at the blue carpet. I won't be at the blue carpet. I'll be somewhere in the lobby. But come and find me. You'll find out that I have legs because right now you can't see them, but I do have legs.
Really?
Whoa.
So thank you so much for
Spoiler.
joining me on the special episode of the Lights Up, the high school theater podcast. We come up with these every few weeks or so. We talk about all kinds of different things. So bookmark it. Go to wherever you can get it on Apple or Spotify or Substack or YouTube or wherever. But okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That's better.